Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a very fast team for the current Great League Remix Cup. We're going to take a look here at some battles in the beginning, and we're going to have a team that I also showcased in the top team video. What I have to say is that I would do some kind of different things with this team, as there are going to be some Pokemon that might be a little bit difficult to deal with, which you're going to talk about here as well. But all in all, this team definitely has a lot of potential. But yeah, there's going to be some fixes I would suggest you to do. One of them is going to be most likely the Say-Swap of Annihilate over the Glade. The Glade is going to be a little bit more fun version, of course, for this team, which I kind of want to do here. We don't have to take it all serious. We're all legend, not we all legend already. I'm legend already, of course, on this channel, so I don't really want to take it too crazy serious all the time. But I would say that Annihilate is definitely going to give you better results. Otherwise, what I also would suggest you is to go for Sludge Bomb on your Victreebel. Other than, like, for example, the Bastion team for like toxic teams or whatever around this Pokemon, here you don't really have the crazy fast move pressure of your other Pokemon, so it doesn't really help you too much. Sludge Bomb in a lot of scenarios is going to help you out a little bit more. We're going to talk a little bit more about the scenarios that I mean with that exactly throughout the video, but here let's enjoy this little boom by the Glade and move on to battle number 2. Here we're going to see already the one core breaker that I kind of wanted to talk about. Yeah, Ferrothorn is something, and also, by the way, you saw the lag there, like this happened for me in real time. Like, the game is very much unplayable. I feel like a lot of the battles that I lost as well maybe would have been able to win if it wasn't as crazy laggy. I don't know if it's the same for you, but like for the last few days already, it is really, really bad to play this game. But otherwise, definitely Ferrothorn is going to be a tricky Pokemon to deal with. You're not going to be able to outspeed them here to the next charge move with your Auroras, even if you don't have the lag that you have in the beginning here. But it is just going to be a very tough one if you're especially going to encounter something like Gligar in the back here, which is going to be very difficult for the Say-Swap that you have here of Glade. If you want to swap in your Annihilate instead, there might be also a chance for Ice Punch being very decent on this team, because you're going to have an Ice type in the lead already, and so you bait out all of it, like most of the time basically, the Gligar anyway, so having Ice Punch on your Annihilate on the Say-Swap position might be very decent. I am experimenting currently on a different team that you're going to see soon as well, where on Ice Punch plus Night Slash, and I honestly think it is a great moveset to play, but here sadly we're gonna get hardwalled. And this happened quite often. Like, this is something that I have to say here as well. There are going to be some battles that are just cut out as well, just because it's A, very, very late, and B, because I kind of forfeited them after 1 minute because I just got a complete hardwall team against me. I'm not too sure if this is going to be something that's insanely common, or if it's just something where I was kind of unlucky, which you kind of only have to basically see after a few days or whatever, because the meta is going to shift quite a bit. It feels like kind of Wild West meta right now, where like you can kind of encounter everything. So yeah, it is not really ideal maybe to get completely hard counter with this team, as you might imagine, but you still can, like, I was still able to come back from quite a lot of hard counter matchups that you're going to see here today. But if you get completely hard walled, there's nothing that you can do. There was, for example, like one battle where I had like a fighter in the lead against me, then as a Say-Swap I had like a fairy type against me, in the back there was a Mandibuzz, and like there was nothing they can do. And yeah, I can show it, but I can also just leave it out, because yeah, I just get completely hardwalled. There's nothing that you can do, and this is just something that can happen, but I kind of want to say it at least. Anyway, I would like actually to know in the comment section, what are you running for this cup, because at least now I did my first 25 battles for this cup, and I feel like it's a little bit of a weird cup so far. I thought it would be a little bit more predictable, but I feel like it is very not predictable. Quite a lot of Gligar, but also quite a lot of like Steelix double dragon teams. It is a little bit weird. You know what's also a little bit weird? Going for a close combat here when the leaf bait is super effective, but if both KOs, why not? And so we can just knock them out and move on to the next opponent. Auroras against Surfetch'd. Look at this, great lead for us, right? No, of course not. We're going to swap out into our own Glade. They swap out into a Golbat, and I was like, yeah, this is basically what I was encountering quite often today. Hopefully the audio, by the way, is okay as well. I cannot talk a little bit quieter as well, because it's kind of nighttime, but I kind of put up the audio a little bit, so hopefully it's still okay for you. You're going to see we can still try to farm up quite a bit with our Auroras, which is going to hopefully still have a decent chance here. We're going to see the Poison Fang coming through, which is kind of nice. So at least the Shadow Ball is not going to hit us, as we can reach out for one more Weather Ball. And as you can go for another Weather Ball against the opponent Surfetch'd, which is going to do a ton of damage after the debuff on us here with the one counter, we can swap into the Victreebel. And as you can see, the opponent is going to decide to go for a charge move before they swap out. And they swap out into nothing. They swap onto the Carbink here right now. That's kind of nice for me, as now we can go for the acid spray. They decide to use a shield, and for them, that's enough to forfeit, and we can move on to the next opponent. We're going to have the Ferrothorn in the lead. This is going to be basically, again, the hardest core breaker, but what I would do if you want to copy the exact team is I would go ahead and swap immediately into the Gallade. There are going to be a lot of time scenarios where you can get some extra farm with Pokemon in the back, like for example, if you're going to have a Mudboy in the back, you might be able to get some farm with your Victreebel. Otherwise, you're going to be able to get some farm maybe against some flying type Pokemon, like a Mandibuzz, with your lead of the Auroras. And that's something that we kind of try to take advantage of, then we can try to put like help us later on maybe. Here we're going to be able to swap out now into our Auroras, try to get some extra energy. We are going to be forced to throw eventually because yeah, we can take 2 Dark Pulls, we cannot really take 3 Dark Pulls, and so we're going to just go for 1 Weather Ball here. Perfect farming anyway, as this is going to be a CMP tie. The opponent decides to let this move go through, and as you're gonna see, the Ferrothorn is coming back in, and we still have a chance here, especially if we're going to be able to catch a Power Whip on our Victreebel, because that's the cool thing here. At least we're going to be able to double resist the Power Whip on the Victreebel. And so if we can do this, we're going to have a great time here. We cannot, but they stay in. And I was kind of curious. I would imagine that they're going to run Thunder in this meta, so I decided to let this move go through. And as you can see here, Power Whip is not going to do a lot of damage. And this is a Stunfisk, just a standard Stunfisk. And I don't really know why the opponent is running this in this kind of type of team, because I don't know. Maybe it does make sense. I guess you're going to be able to counter Fire-type Pokemon with this Pokemon, which you don't really want to face with your lead. But as you're going to see here, we're going to be able to go ahead and go for another Leaf Blade against the Ferrothorn, and we're going to get the shield from the opponent. As you can go for another Leaf Blade, this is going to be able to take the knockout, and so we got kind of completely walled here, but we were still able to come back from it, so don't always give up immediately. Next opponent. Steelix in lead is kind of okay for us. It is kind of very neutral, but we are running kind of an ABB-like style line, so you're going to have a double weakness to flying type Pokemon in the back, and so you kind of want to swap out eventually from this matchup. So we decided to go into our Gallade. As they swap into their Pelipper, we can go for a double Leaf Blade, which will force a shield from the opponent, but as they can most likely go for the full farm down, they're gonna get a ton of energy, and I don't really enjoy this because one Pokemon is double weak, or like single weak against flying typing, which is not going to be great for the Hurricane, and the other Pokemon is going to be weak against Weather Ball, which is also not being great here. And so I predict that they're gonna go straight for a Weather Ball, as they already saw my lead, and they do exactly this, and so it's going to be resisted here. I'm still forced to use a shield on the next move because it's still going to hurt quite a bit, even if it's a Weather Ball, and so I can get a ton of energy. And as you're gonna see, the opponent is going to be able to swap into the Dragonair, and here I make a mistake. I should have just swapped out and went straight for my charge move and just kept the charge move here, but maybe it is not too bad. We have to hope, we have to pray, because it is not going to be that easy for us. Steelix is such a bulky boy that this Pokemon is here not going to do too much against them. As you can see here, Weather Ball, we need at least like 2 more Weather Balls to knock them out. We let the first move go through, as Psychic Fangs is going to get a guaranteed defense drop against me, and so the next charge move would do more damage. But also, I'm kind of thinking that they're very likely going to try to go for the full farm now and try to go up to 2 charge moves against the Victreebel. But as you can see, we got them insanely low, and so one more Magical Leaf that we can sneak through is going to be enough, and we can win this game. So we can move on now to the next opponent. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Carbink in the lead. This is horrible for us, so we swap out immediately into our Gallade. In comes a Shadow Sableye, which is also not really ideal, as this is something that definitely happened quite a lot here. So, like, I have to say, I was very unlucky with the Pokemon that I encountered. I doubt that this is going to stay the same throughout the meta. I feel like the meta is going to shift, which makes this team a little bit better maybe later on. But right now, there were a lot of answers to the Pokemon that I was running here. And like usually in a perfect combination where I was basically unable to be able to do anything here. And so we can try our best to go for a full farm down, but we have to go for the full farm down with our Victreebel. Can we get a triple KO with the Victreebel? No, because they're going to have their own Victreebel. And this would be, for example, one of the matchups where you really would like to have Sludge Bomb, because what we would be able to do is we could go for a bait here, we could be able to just go up to the Sludge Bomb next, and we would be able to knock out the opponent's own Victreebel. And so again, I feel like Sludge Bomb is going to be the better move to go for here, but we don't have it, and so we're going to sadly lose this game because of this, most likely. But I think it would still be very close against the Carbink anyway, so maybe we would have not been able to win this no matter what. Second to last game here for today, we're going to have a Golbat in the lead, which is going to be great as I swap out to Greedent, and this is kind of something that maybe I screw up a little bit, but honestly this opponent plays it also very well. So I kind of want to showcase here as well real quick on how strong the opponent actually plays this. We're going to have here actually a matchup where we're going to be in a decent spot because we can take a Body Slam, but I doubt that they're going to be able to take a Leaf Blade from me. So as you're going to see here, we want to go for a shield. There is going to be the Body Slam coming through. We can go for another Leaf Blade coming up here as well. This is going to hopefully get the knockout or the shield. We're going to get the shield here, which is totally fine. And we can go for another one. And this is going to be great for us because now we can force a shield from the opponent. They're definitely going to go for it. And so they shield us. And I just have to reach a move with my Gallade and I should be kind of fine. But I make a little bit of a mistake here because I underestimate the energy that the opponent has. I know that they can go for the charge move before. I lag a turn here, by the way. I would have been able to get another Psycho Cut through, which would have allowed me to go for like the Leaf Blade a little bit faster as well, which I didn't get to because the game lagged, which is kind of annoying. But it is what it is. We can still shield up the Body Slam and we can go ahead and go for a Leaf Blade here, which is going to be able to connect, knock them out, and we can see they are going to be good Golbat again, and they make a perfect catch as well. I stayed in for actually 2 turns. They expected that they would try to catch, and they only caught like after 2 turns, which is kind of wild. But it is what it is. We can move on to the final battle of today. So if you enjoyed this video here as well, feel free to leave a like, would really appreciate it. We're going to have more content towards this cup coming up on the channel here for the next few days. It's going to be a little bit different because Lily is here as well. But as you're going to see, we can go for a close combat. This is going to get the shield against the Gastald, and let's see if we can still do something here. We had a little bit of lag there again. Honestly, I have like crazy frame drops throughout the battles. Like usually I have a lot of frame drops already, like when you do a charge move or something like this, like the game kind of does not register everything. But here right now, it was absolutely wild. I don't know what was going on. I had this already a little bit earlier as well when I played like Open Great League. But it is kind of mad. Let me know in the comment section if you have the same kind of issues right now as well. But as you can see, we got a ton of energy at least. We can swap out, and they're still locked into this matchup. And so I get a ton of energy with my Victreebel. This should just be an awkward tail. We can easily take this one. And they're going to have in the back a Scrafty. And here actually, Acid Spray can kind of come in clutch. I don't think it really matters because we would have been able to later on go for double Weather Ball anyway. But what we can do now is we can go ahead, go for a shield. It is going to be the Power Punch, and we can now go ahead and go for the Acid Spray, which is forcing the shield here for sure. There's no way around it. As you're gonna see here, we can go for the full farm down, and so the opponent still gets to a charge move, but it doesn't really matter too much. As you're gonna see here, Power Punch coming through, we can go for the full farm down, and just for fun, we're gonna go for a Meteor Beam, and this is all it takes to knock them out, and so we can even claim our 4-1 set here at the end with this team. This team definitely is a solid one. It is just a little bit tricky if you get completely hardwalled. I think it's going to be better along the way. Go for Annihilate instead, maybe with Ice Punch and Night Stash, and also go for Sludge Bomb on the Victreebel. You're going to have even better results, so hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.